13 months after this photograph was taken, the Marine Corps ordered every aircraft in it out of existence. Alfred Palmer spent part of May 1942 at Parris Island, South Carolina, with a 4x5 camera and color film. These colors are not a guess. Nothing here has been colorized. Palmer shot Kodachrome transparencies, and this is the color that came off the film. He photographed two things at Parris Island that most people do not know the Marine Corps ever had. The first was a fleet of gliders. Yellow, unarmed, engineless, and lettered U.S. Marines along the nose. The idea came from Crete. In May 1941, the Germans took the island largely from the air, with 75 gliders carrying 750 troops. The Secretary of the Navy wanted to know whether it would work in an amphibious landing. A glider was cheap, quiet, and could land men where no powered aircraft could. So the Corps went looking for pilots, and it was specific about who it wanted. A call would be issued for volunteers, the record says, preferably second lieutenants, which is why nearly every man Palmer photographed at Page Field is a lieutenant. Glider Group 71 had been organized that April with 20 officers and 218 enlisted men. The captions rarely give a name: Marine Lieutenant, glider pilot in training. That is the whole record of him. Yellow life vest, leather helmet, goggles pushed up. Palmer photographed them in the cockpits, waiting. 2 to a glider. A pilot and a co-pilot, the second seat eventually meant for a non-commissioned officer. One of them waves at the camera. They are young, and they are volunteers, and they have been handed an aircraft with no engine. Palmer worked them like portraits. Low angle, hard May sun, the sky behind. He shot this one standing on the wing. And this one against nothing at all. Then the working day. Preparing for takeoff, his caption says. A glider cannot start itself. Everything at Page Field depended on the aircraft that pulled it into the air. A biplane trainer. Palmer calls it the power plane which tows the training gliders. In one caption, he gives it a better name: the aerial tugboat. He kept photographing the pilots through the propeller. 2 of them waiting on the tow. And then they went up. Palmer went up with them, and this is the part of the assignment nobody else has. 2 gliders under tow out over the South Carolina coast. Yellow wings over green water. The tidal creeks of the low country. Single glider crossing a road from directly above. The beach and the marsh behind it. And here is the depot itself. The barracks in their rows and a glider passing over them. Parris Island in May 1942 from a training glider. Free of the tow, the machines were beautiful and almost silent. Palmer photographed one against a thunderhead. On the ground in the heat, a Marine with the gliders. Tail number 04386. The other thing Palmer photographed at Parris Island was even stranger. The Marine Corps had barrage balloons, and it kept squadrons of them on this island. A barrage balloon is not a weapon. It is an obstacle. You fly it on a cable and you make the sky above a target too expensive to enter. The Corps got the idea from the British. Relying on British experience with balloons over London, the record says it appeared that 50 to 100 balloons were required to provide adequate area defense. Not everyone agreed. The argument inside the Corps was whether an advanced naval base could ever be attacked from the air at all. The Corps' own history calls that objection noteworthy for its short-sightedness and adds one sentence. Nowhere was any mention made of attack by carrier-based aircraft. The argument was made before Pearl Harbor. The balloons won it. So Palmer found them on a field at Parris Island being wrestled down by hand. "Bedding down a big barrage balloon," he wrote. They are enormous, and in his film they are silver against a violet sky. Aloft, one still on the grass. A section of the barrage riding above the trees. Two of them out over the scrub. Close up, the thing looks less like an aircraft than a fish. Fins, seams, and a great deal of hydrogen. Each squadron needed 4,000 high-pressure cylinders to keep its balloons full, and a man on the end of a line holding one down. Both of these programs ended in the same week. In February 1943, the Corps ordered that no further steps be undertaken in the glider program until more pressing needs in the Pacific were met. The Pacific was islands and jungle. There was nowhere to land a glider, and the Corps had worked that out after Guadalcanal. On the 24th of June 1943, the Commandant terminated the Marine glider program. The gliders on order went to the Army. So did 10 that had already been delivered and which the record says had never been flown. 2 days later, on the 26th of June, the Army agreed to take the balloons as well. 60 officers and 1,200 enlisted men were freed from Marine barrage balloon duties. Anti-aircraft guns had turned out to be the better answer. The squadrons were disbanded one at a time through that December. Most of the men went to defense battalions. Neither program ever went into combat. Between them, they produced these photographs and very little else. Palmer photographed one more thing that May, a parachute over the island from a program the Corps also gave up, and the recruits, who were the reason the island existed and who were not in any of it. Marines finishing training at Parris Island, that is all his caption says about them. The statue was already standing when Palmer arrived. Every frame in this film is a government photograph, free to download at full resolution from the Library of Congress. The link is in the description.